Hello everybody, Steven here with Big Fish Audio, and today I'm very excited to show you Street Percussion. Street Percussion is a brand new contact player based virtual instrument. A while back we ran into a couple of guys on the streets of New York playing their unique street percussion kits of instruments that they have collected over the years, and we were so inspired we knew we had to make a library out of this. So we ended up recording over 100 of their instruments, collecting over 11,000 samples with plenty of round robins and dynamic layers to make sure that this sequence-based library would really be true to life. As I mentioned, this is a contact player instrument, so that means you don't need the full version of Contact to use it. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. I loaded up a preset kit and I loaded up a preset beat here, and this is what it sounds like. So to begin, I'm going to give you a brief look at each of the 3 pages that are included in Street Percussion. And then we'll come back and look in more detail at each of those 3 pages. So you are currently looking at the sequencer page, and you have that preset kit that I mentioned here loaded into the 8 different channels at the top. And then each channel here is also represented in these 8 lanes. And you can see the beat that is programmed into each of those lanes. So that is the sequencer page. The edit page allows you to look at any of these 8 different channels and 8 different scenes or beats that you can create. And you can see all the different parameters that you can control for them. So not only the velocity and basically on off for each step, but you can control the length of the sample, the pan, pitch, if you want a step reversed, or add delay or reverb to any individual step. Okay, and the mixer page allows you to control the close and room mic for each individual channel. You can add effects to each channel, and you can also set the output for each channel. Okay, I'm going to click back over to the sequencer page, and let's look at the keyboard layout at the bottom. The black key there that you see, that's your master on-off. So whatever scenes you have currently selected will play back when you press that black key. And when I let it go, it turns it off. Above that, you can see these different colored ranges here. There are 8 keys for each color, and those 8 keys represent the 8 different scenes for each channel. So this first range here is channel 1, scene 1, and it's going to play back just that. If you press the next key, it's channel 1, scene 2. And you can see I have programmed in just a slight variation on the same groove. And then the next colored range is going to be your channel 2, scene 1, channel 2, scene 2. And then you could mix and match with those. So if you wanted to play back just those 2 channels, I could hold down those 2 keys and play just those 2 channels. Let's look below the black key there in the middle, and we have this purple range. This will activate all channels on any particular scene. So if I press the first one, you can see we're already on channel 1, or we're already on scene 1, but it's playing back all my channels. I can press the second one, and now it's playing back all channels on scene 2. So if you've programmed in various song parts on each different scene, and you don't need to mix and match between channels and scenes, this is a quick way to just play back your different song sections after they've been programmed in. Below that, you get the next colored range. You can see these colors match these colors up here. So as you might guess, this colored range right here is channel 1, and those are the one-shots for channel 1. So you can see this whole section, these are all one-shots, which means you can play them by hand, freehand, away from the sequencer, and it works just the same in terms of the mixer routing and everything that you would have there. And then below that, you have these different roll keys, which means that if I'm holding a roll key and I'm holding a particular one-shot, I have these different divisions that I can play back a roll on that one-shot. So that's the keyboard layout. We'll look a little bit more at how you can utilize this keyboard layout and get the most out of it as we move on here. Okay, let's look at the sequencer page in a little bit more detail now. So at the top, you can see this is the kit that I currently have loaded. You can change any individual sample simply by clicking the arrows left or right. So I'll play just this first channel here. And here is the gutter pipe. Orange bucket. If you want to look at everything that we have included in the library, you can click this name here, and then we can see the different categories of sounds. So if I want to see everything that's metal, and then I can click and preview each sample. And then when I find the one I want to load in, you can double click it and you can see that loads right into that channel. Then from here, you can click on another channel and continue building your kit. Another way you can do this is by going into menu mode, and everything that is loaded into, say, drum kit 2 here is now on my keyboard to be played. And I'm just playing those on my keyboard until I find the one that I want. If I want to load in that cowbell there, I go ahead and just double click on it, and now that's loaded into my kit. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. And another way you can quickly build your kit is using the kit presets. So currently I have Sidewalk Shenanigans opened up here. And if I play back the whole kit here again, I can go ahead and try a different kit. And you can see all your different kit presets right here. So let's go ahead and go back to Sidewalk Shenanigans for now. And now let's look at the next section below this, which is this middle strip that has your global scene selectors. So I can select globally to see all scene 2, 3, 4, and so on. And you can see I have nothing loaded into those currently. And so above that, we have a C and a P. And you're going to notice a few different places in this library that have copy and paste. So if I want to take, say, scene 2, and I have nothing on scene 3 here, so I'm going to go to scene 2, hit copy, click on scene 3, and hit paste. And now I have basically the same groove that I had on scene 2 on scene 3, ready to make a few changes for whatever alterations I needed for that next scene. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you is the latch button. So if I turn that on, this allows me to press any key on the channel scenes, and I won't have to hold it down to keep the sequence playing back. So I've released the key, I've just hit it once, and now if I hit it again, it stops. And then I can go ahead and do that for multiple channels, or any of the alt channel keys as well. So that's the latch button. If I want to play something at halftime, I can go ahead and click the speed button here and go to halftime here, or go up to double time. Okay, from here, let's check out the beat presets. I'm going to go ahead and start the sequence again, and we'll just click through a few of the different presets we've included. Okay, the next thing is the view, which shows you the different parameters that you're editing. So right now, by default, you're looking at the velocity, which is basically your on-off for your steps. Basically, are you hearing a sound, and how loud is it? From there, you can go ahead and alter the length. And then if we want to demonstrate that, I'll just go ahead, play this first sample here. You can hear how as I get lower and lower, it's getting a little bit shorter and shorter. So if you wanted to do some complex length things, you could do that. And then this is a pan view here, which you are altering left or right for each step. Pitch, reverse, so you can reverse a sample. So we're going to go ahead and reverse that sample, which you can hear there. Add delay, or reverb. And we'll look at editing those in a little bit more detail on the edit page. But you can see basically what everything is doing on all your channels at once on any of these views. We also have swing and humanize. So if I go ahead and start this sequence again and turn up the swing, you'll hear that swing start to kick in. And then if you want to make it also more human, you can turn this up. It goes from a nice, loose type of feel all the way to a really bad player. Needs more lessons. But let's go ahead and turn that back down. Lastly, on here we have the input cue. I'm going to bring Logic into the screen here now so that you could see that I'm going to run the playhead. You either have to be recording or running the playhead by hitting the play button for input cue to be working. Right now it's set to a bar, but you have the option for a quarter note or a half note. What the input cue does is it allows you to play back new scenes on any channel or any new event happening, and it won't happen until it reaches either a half bar, a quarter note, or a bar. So if we set it to a bar, start our playhead, which you can see running in the background, and then go ahead and start my all channel scene 1. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit all channel scene 2 right now, and it won't start until the bar line. And then from here, if you look up at channel 1, I'm going to turn channel 1 back to scene 1 up in my individual channels section. So you saw that change there, and it's keeping everything in time because I'm using the input cue. I switched over to scene 3 on channel 1, and you can do that for any of your channels onto any scene, and input cue will keep everything nice and tight for you. And lastly, on this row, you have clear, which will allow you to clear any individual parameters that you've changed. So if I went ahead and added some delay in here and I just wanted to clear that, I could clear just that delay, but you can see my velocity and all the other parameters will stay the same. If I wanted to clear this entire scene or everything that you're viewing and all in, so in this case it would be channel 1, scene 3, all of that would clear, and then all of these scene 2s would clear. I would hit clear all, which I'm not going to do at this point. And then if you want to just preview what you have, you can either hit the keyboard or you can hit this play button that's right up here. Okay, now let's look down at the controls on each individual channel. So here you have a solo and a mute. So if I obviously am playing everything together and I just want to hear what's happening here, this is the hardwood sheet, small. I can solo that. And then next to that, I have this channel's scene selector. We've pretty much seen what that does. You can view any channel scenes. And then from here is another place where you can also change out the sound into the next sound in the category that you're currently in. Next to this, you can change the rate individually for each channel. And you can see that this particular beat preset already has that set. So it is using a quarter note step for this crash symbol here, so that it only happens every once in a while or every few measures of everything else going at a 16th note step on here. So if you'll notice, I'll play back this scene again, and you'll see this channel playing at a different rate. So every 4 measures, that crash will come in. And you can use that for simple things like that or more complicated type of rhythms and patterns. And then you can select the number of steps in here as well from 1 to 32. And your rates, by the way, can go from a triplet 16th note up to a whole note per step. One last really cool thing on this page I want to show you is our shift button. So again, I'm going to go ahead and start this pattern up. And if you want to hear what a particular instrument sounds like shifted over with the groove you've already created, just hit left or right on the shift. So we're now listening to this tom right here. Let's change that tom. So you can instantly hear just variations on your groove simply by shifting around what you've already input into the velocity here. It really allows for quick experimentation just to try to rearrange your groove on the fly. It's a fun little feature that we have put in here. Okay, let's move over to the edit page now. As we saw before, this is where you can add more detailed editing to each individual channel and their scenes. So you can see you have access all at one time to all these different parameters rather than having to click like you do on the sequence page one by one through the view. Here now I can go ahead and add pan to a specific channel. So if I want to go, say, to channel 1, and I'm going to pan these steps here like that, and now you can hear this sounds like that. And then you can apply different pitch effects. So I can alter the pitch of that first step there. Altering a little of the pitch there. And then I'm going to add some reverse. To that sample there. And then we can go ahead and add some delay to this. And some reverb. And then on that delay, I'm going to change, and it's currently using, you can see down here at the bottom, it's using delay A. And delay A is currently selected on seconds. I'm going to go to beats instead. Make this a triplet, eighth note triplet. And then I can switch out which reverb I'm using as well. You can see there's 4 different delays you can choose from, so that on different channels you can use delay A on one channel, delay B on another channel, and then maybe you want delay A on even another channel. So you can kind of mix and match which delays and reverbs you're using. For the reverb, there are 2 different convolution reverbs included on here, and then there are 2 contact reverbs as well. So in the convolution reverb, let's go ahead and click through some of those and hear how different ones sound there. I'm going to go ahead and start this scene up again. And then let's see what the reverb sounds like. And then again, you can switch these out. So if on this channel you're using reverb C, you can go over to this channel and you have the option, if you want to apply reverb effects to a step on here, of using C or any of the other ones as well. But keep in mind, if you change the parameters for C here, you've also changed it over on any other channel that is using reverb C. Okay, last thing on this page is the groove presets. Now we've talked about the kit presets and we've talked about the beat presets. The groove presets are for individual channels. So this isn't going to load in a full groove across all 8 channels, but if you wanted a specific groove and you wanted to explore some more experimental type things, these groove presets are what you're looking for. And these will have different delay and reverb and reverse and use all the different parameters in the groove presets, where the beat presets are simply adjusting your velocity and getting a quick groove going. So let's go ahead and preview some of these here. So we can go ahead and click on a category. Let's try experimental and let's go 4/4 in the time signature there. And then let's try detune, retune, see what that is. Let's try another one. And of course, these are all going to load in with the current instrument that you have in here. So from this page and from any page, you can change out your kit the same way I showed you before. So if we want to try what we're doing here with a different sound, let's try this plastic pot here and then go back to playing these different groove presets. Let's try something just in the simple category. 3/4. Now our groove preset that we had was 4/4, so let's try reverse Roomba. And then let's play all channels here. And the last feature of the groove presets is the save as function. If I was to make any change to this preset here and I wanted to save it, I could go ahead and hit save as, select the category you'd like it to be a part of, select the time signature, and then go ahead and enter the name you wish here. You could say my preset, and then hit confirm. and that will now be part of your presets. Okay, last few things for the edit page. If I turn on the All Channel Scenes button and then make a change to say this delay here, that same pattern that I've created will be applied across all other scenes for channel 1, as you can see here. And that goes the same for any other parameter on here as well. I'm going to turn that off, and now you can see there's a loop button on here, and this particular sample is set to loop. If I turn off the loop button, this particular pattern will no longer loop anymore, which can be useful if you want to create a fill and you want to insert it into a certain section of the groove. Hit it once, it'll play the fill, and it won't continue on playing. The clear button is pretty self-explanatory. It will clear anything you see currently on the page. If you want to view another channel and its scenes, you can simply select them from the top up here. Or you can turn on the MIDI select button. This will allow you to press any scene on the keyboard, and its channel and scene will show up. Play Scene will play the currently selected scene, and Play All will play all the scenes that are currently selected. So as we mentioned before, you have control over your close and your room mic. So if you want to turn down the room here, you could do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and click this link icon. And now any change I make will link both the close and the room mic for both volume and pan to mirror each other. You also have control over every channel and their effects. So if I click on channel 2, I have control over the effects on here. So if I want to add some saturation to this, I can go ahead and turn it on. Add some saturation to that sound. Add a limiter, delay, reverb, anything I want to that individual channel. And lastly, I can route the output. If I'm using the multi-output version of Contact, which is just you either select stereo or multi-output. So I'm just going to click on default. And if you were to have the multi-output version of Contact loaded in and you've set up your outputs in Contact, you would be able to set each channel to their own output and then mix those individually in your own DAW. So that's it for this walkthrough. I hope you learned how fun, unique, and powerful this library really is. It's available at bigfishaudio.com. Have a great day.